So I've been talking to some people lately about homeopathy. Is anyone here familiar with homeopathy?
I think we all are.
Okay,
You're
good.
talking to someone who does research on water.
Yes. Doesn't make any sense to me, but someone submitted, I guess, an article that had a bunch of mechanisms, and I was wondering if you guys are familiar with it, because I tried scanning through it, and I was like, I don't know if all this quite makes sense to me. So I was hoping maybe you guys were familiar with some of the mechanisms and you could help me.
What are you referring to? What is your source for this information? I'm sorry
man.
to use that filthy swear word.
I know. How dare you? Damn, now I gotta find this.
Because my guess is, as you're looking for it, it's not going to be peer reviewed.
Allow me to. I know all the bullshit mechanisms of homeopathy. What they basically say is that water actually remembers the shape of the molecules that were in it, which is absolute bollocks, because the relaxation of the water structure goes on the order of picoseconds, which is 10 to the minus 12 of a second. The idea that water is going to have persistent memory of what's been in it for the time that you shake it and reorientate and all that sort of thing is just not realistic. And further, if water really did have memory of whatever was dissolved in it, there's this old sort of joke that homeopathy is full of crap, because the one thing that goes through water a lot is crap, and therefore every time you dilute it and shake it, it becomes more powerful. Anyway, sorry.
I think the thing about homeopathy.
Well, if I may, sorry to cut through you, Potholer. Carter has kindly put a link into the description, which I'm looking at the moment.
Yeah, it's basically
and it does have
points.
all the appearance of a scientific paper, and it's got abstract and author and all this sort of stuff. But the author seems to have a bias, and I'm not sure whether. Well, Potholer, do go on, because I'll try and have a look at this.
What's the journal? Can you see the journal name there? Is it
no,
the
there is
Journal
no
of
journal.
Homeopathy?
It's a WordPress document. There is no journal.
Okay.
Goodness sake, Potholer. You expected a journal?
So it's a blog article.
I think that answers the question. Yeah, it's a blog. It's like the energy and environment of the new age science world. Okay.
Okay,
I think there's two
the
issues.
keywords. Keywords, quantum coherence domains, nanostructures. That's absolute categorical bollocks, I can tell you that, because, that's the stuff which is relaxations of picoseconds. Nanotechnology, homeostatic mechanisms, properties and structures.
If you're in the Blog TV room, do you want to post a link, the one that you've sent us in Skype? So people who are watching, if they are minded to waste their time, can actually go to this link and see what bullshit is being published there.
It alarms me that there are homeopathic medicines being sold in public drugstores here in this country, in the U.S.
I think
I'll tell you what's pleasing, if I may, very quickly. What's really pleasing is that Michael Payton's organisation in Canada, the name of which escapes me for now, are part of a group action that is taking place, that is suing one of the producers of these homeopathic remedies. They are doing it on the basis that there are so many misrepresentations in the way in which these things are marketed and advertised, and the claim, I think, is for over $25 million, and it's going through the courts now. And I'm not disclosing anything that I can't, because this is the court action is public. The court papers and the writ that is being taken is a public document. So I'm not disclosing anything. I'm looking forward to how that develops. So somebody is actually taking action against it. I'm sorry, Potholer, I cut through you, and then we'll go for Potholer.
Yeah, that's okay. I just wanted to make the point that I think before we start looking at mechanisms of how homeopathy works, I think we need to establish if it works. It's interesting that I think now homeopaths are used in British hospitals. Am I right, Richard?
There are a number of general practitioners that are using homeopathic remedies. This was something that was set up during the course of Tony Blair's administration as Prime Minister, which comes as a surprise.
By the National
also,
Health
the
Service?
extension of faith schools happened under his administration.
Yes,
they are being questioned, but there are a couple of GPs. I don't know to what extent it happens in hospitals, but it's kind of slipping in a way. Yes.
Because I think the most important thing with all of these new age things is to see whether or not they work, first of all. I think that should be the very first question. Do study after study, blind studies to see if there is any effect whatsoever, and rule out any possible placebo effect to see. Because if there is no effect, then we don't need to go into a discussion about whether homeopathy works or not, or why it works. It's just a moot point. It doesn't work. It's like having rock crystals. I was watching one of these American programs recently. It was a dating thing. I have to say, look, I was on assignment. I was in a hotel room. They had cable TV. I was bored. There was nothing else to watch. And believe me, there was nothing else.
I've heard that defense being used many times in court, Pot.
So it was a dating program, and basically they were matching up people for dating, and they got this woman and they put crystals on her because they said she was too aggressive, and they said, look, we put these crystals on you, it'll calm you down, and she subjected herself to this as if it was a magical cure. There are so many of these things, but I think we need to be open-minded enough to say if they work. And that hasn't been established that homeopathy works. If it works, then we need to look into why does it work. It could be nothing more than an aberration of the statistics, the methodology was bad, could be nothing more than that. But I think the first thing that needs to be established is whether or not it works. And that will call the bullshit straight away.
I have to say that I'm kind of thinking that such tests are a total waste of money because of the way in which Thunderfoot has described it. I mean, the idea that a water molecule can have some sort of memory in some sort of vibration state, I don't think we need to waste our time doing any research on it, do we?
Well, yeah.
If someone wants to stump up the money.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Tim Minchin thing, what they call alternative medicine that can be shown to work. Medicine! But
how do you mean it can be shown to work, Thunder?
Like you were saying, something actually has a demonstrable effect over placebo.
Yeah, so you think there are ways of manipulating the research to make it seem as though homeopathy...
No, he's talking about real medicine, the way that, when you test something and it passes the test, then it becomes medicine. When it's repeatedly, verifiably, actually functioning beyond the placebo level, actually produces results, then you would call it...
Right.
Yeah.
So we do the same test, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I just had another discussion here a couple of days ago that dprjones was involved with, and I spent an hour and a half talking to somebody about what is true and how do you verify whether something is true or not, because a lot of these people that I end up with these religious conversations with, they will deny doggedly what reality is, that reality can be whatever the hell they want it to be, and that there's no way you can prove anything to them. Now, whether there are chairs in the room, it doesn't matter. I mean, anything, they will escape. They won't be pinned down on anything. So this guy argued with me for an hour and a half that anything I wanted to suggest might not be true, and there would be no way that I could prove that, anything, if he didn't want to believe it.
Water has the capacity to memorize molecular energetic signatures, i.e. energy states. This is just complete bollocks. I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 mechanisms by which you can actually store energy in a water molecule. You can change the spin states of the electrons, the energetic states of the electrons, the spin state of the nucleus, and then you've got the rotational and translational modes of the water molecule. Well, half of those are too high energy to be accessed, and the others are too low energy that they thermalize within picoseconds.
But you're talking about the same kind of energy states that I learned about in chemistry class, right? I have the feeling that when these people are talking about energy states, they don't even know that there are energy states. of the type that you're talking about. There's just a word that they came up with that they think sounds cool and ambiguous.
Okay, yeah, I mean, they go even further here. They say that it's stored in the hydrogen bond network, and that's known. You can measure that as a relaxation time, of below a billionth of a second.
Can we get a homeopathy specialist on our show at some point? I mean, please. I want to put one of these homeopathy guys sitting next to a chiropractor. Can we do that?
And it gets even better, right? The paper
explode. It's like matter and antimatter.
The paper, popularly known as Jacques Benevist's Memory of Water study, he duplicated his results 70 times, which sort of don't you just duplicate something once, you replicate it more than once. Or am I being too much of a... Can you duplicate something 70 times?
You just need to open your mind to the new age understanding of energy English. And whatever. Anyway,
DPR, have you ever seen the advertisement, or have you ever seen the promotional videos done for homeopathy? It sounds like an advertisement for the Weekly World News publications. I mean, they are about as much woo as it is imaginable to get. These people will throw out any word that they think sounds groovalicious, and that they don't realize has a meaning in some language.